Hey everybody, my name is Teague, and today we're talking about sus chords. Suspended chords, or sus chords for short, are dominant chords in which the third has been replaced by the natural fourth. This gives the chord a kind of chordal harmony sound, or stacked fourths. Overall, a lot of my students understand the theory behind the sus4 chord, but don't necessarily know exactly what to play over it. I think that's one of the most common questions that I have to answer is, what exactly do I do with this sus chord? Well, I want to go over some of that information with you today. Usually, for myself, when faced with troubling harmony, I like to go check out musicians that I really respect their playing and see how they handle a particular set of harmony or chord changes. For me, figuring out how to play over a sus chord, it was really important to go check out Herbie Hancock's composition, Maiden Voyage. All the soloists on that particular album have to deal with a tune that's comprised entirely of sus chords, and they do so quite masterfully. One of the most important things to take away from the solos on that particular track is the fact that everybody's really treating the chord pretty much like a dominant chord. Let's take a quick idea from Freddie Hubbard's solo. It occurs over an F sus9, or this sound. Against that, Freddie Hubbard plays this idea. He's just working his way up the Mixolydian scale. From the fifth, we have C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B flat, C. He goes on from there to a D, E flat, F, and back to D, the 13. But that's just a melodic note over an F sus chord. Other things that we see Freddie Hubbard do is we see him play an A flat against this. But a lot of the times he's actually bending it into the third, giving us the sound of the blues. So let's take that information and utilize it for our own purposes. For this, we're going to be looking at a 2-5 in the key of G major. So A minor 7, D7, and G major 7. The best way to think about a sus chord is that it's somewhere halfway between a minor 2 and a dominant 5 chord. So let's look at a quick voicing. If we break down an A minor 11 chord, something like this, we have what amounts to an A, G, C, and D. If I change this bass note from an A to a D, now I'm playing a D7 sus. If I move that fourth, the G, the natural 4, down to the major third, F sharp, I get my D7 voicing, which then moves down to a G major 7. It can also look like this: A minor 7 to D sus 9 to D9 to G major 7. So if we're thinking about our D7 sus as really an A minor, a 2 chord, with a D in the bass instead of an A in the bass, then it opens up a lot of different things we can play against that chord. We can play our A minor pentatonic, play our A Dorian scale, we can play our D bebop, we can also play D Mixolydian, we can also play the blues. Another thing to notice about this is if you look at the voicing of a D9 suspended, we're really looking at a C minor triad with a D in the bass. That should give us some ideas in and of itself. And then we have a C triad and a D triad that we can combine. It gives me a set of triad pairs that I can use, or in the case of using a single triad, I can use just a C triad, C major triad, against a D sus chord. It also gives me some ideas for voicing structures for a sus chord. If it's a C triad with a D in the bass, then I can move that around. What if I make it a C major 7 with a D in the bass? Now I've given myself a D13 sus. I can do that again here. There's a D13 sus with this B in the melody. What if I play just a C triad with a D on top? So a C major triad with the added ninth. Now I have a D9 sus in a different position on the guitar neck. I can also play inversions of that C triad with a D in the bass and continue to get that D9 sus voicing up the guitar neck. Here it is at the 12th fret. We have two other types of suspended fourth voicings that we need to talk about. The first is the sus7 flat 9. This voicing is actually part of a minor 2-5, in which the sus flat 9 chord is actually halfway between a minor 7 flat 5 chord, a minor 2, and a minor 2-5-1 progression, and a 5 flat 9 in a minor 2-5 progression. So something like this. Again, I'm just shifting that bass note from the minor 7 flat 5 chord, A, G, C, E flat, and getting this D in the bass here. This chord has a separate parent scale from some of the other chords that we're going to talk about. It's actually derived from the harmonic minor scale. This would be the fifth mode of the G harmonic minor scale, giving us Phrygian dominant. Over a D sus flat 9, that means we have D, E flat, the flat 9, F sharp, the major third, G, the fourth, A, the fifth, B flat, the flat 13, C, the seventh, D, the root. That chord is derived from a pretty distinct sounding scale. If you encounter a D7 sus flat 9 in static circumstances in which it isn't going anywhere, that's the scale you want to attach to that chord. If it comes in context of a minor 2-5 and that D7 sus flat 9 is just moving to a D7 flat 9 before resolving to a minor chord, G minor 7, then all of our minor 2-5 information comes into play. But keep in mind that the D7 sus flat 9 does not have a natural 13 as part of its parent scale. So therefore we're going to want to use the altered sound and not the diminished sound to achieve that flat 13, not the natural 13 sound. Our next voicing is a sus 13 flat 9. I'm going to play that voicing out of this position so I can get a clearer sound out of it. What we're really doing here is applying a natural 13 to our sus flat 9 voicing. Again, another chord with a very distinct sound. This one, the parent scale actually comes from our harmonic major scale, the fifth mode of that being Mixolydian flat 2. So over a G sus 13 flat 9, we're going to apply G Mixolydian flat 2, or G, A flat, B, C, D, E, the natural 13, F, G. Same principles apply. If you come across a G sus 13 flat 9 in a static situation, you want to achieve melodic ideas with the parent scale of that chord. If you come across this chord in the context of it moving towards a minor 1, part of a minor 2-5, then your minor 2-5 language comes into play again. But in this case, we have a natural 13. So you're going to want to hear a diminished sound against that. Our diminished scale in terms of a G13 flat 9 gives us the sharp 9, flat 9, root G, F the 7th, E the 13th, natural 5, and flat 5. It's important to remember that sus chords actually contain a major third, not a minor third. You're not suspending the fourth against a minor chord. You're actually suspending the fourth against a dominant chord with a major third. This means that if you see somebody playing a minor third against that chord, they're probably doing an inflection of a blues sound and not treating it with some type of minor scalar sound against that sus chord. So that discussion really covers the three predominant types of sus chords that you're going to see in either pop music or jazz music. I've never really come across anything other than those three types, ones with natural extensions, sus 7 flat 9, sus 13 flat 9. If you have any questions about anything I've said in this video or anything that you've seen, feel free to reach out to me. I hope this video was helpful. If you like it, please remember to subscribe. I'll be posting more videos like this, trying to tackle subjects that come up a lot in lessons that I teach in the future. So thanks, and I'll see y'all next week.